What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Sonic, where we talk about Sonic. I know, what a crazy little twist we're doing. With me, as always, I have my awesome co-host Gamebox.
Hi guys, I'm Gamebox.
When we talk about Sonic news.
We're gonna.
Oh God, you're just having a stroke, my guy.
That was so funny.
What a time for the series to end, not like this.
What I was
Not
trying
this
to
way.
do there, what I was trying to do there was trying to make. At one point, I was gonna go. All right, give me a second, then just let out a big sniff, and then just go for it. I did
Oh my
not
God.
know what I was going with there. Oh my god. Great
Well,
start.
yeah, amazing start. This episode was almost like 2 minutes long. But thankfully, Gamebox survived that little seizure, and yeah, we're here, guys. So welcome. I This is gonna be a pretty fun episode today because not only has so much news happen, but the main subject today is one that a lot of people have been speculating about. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. But before that, we have stuff to talk about. We have crap within the Sonic community going on. So let's just get into all of it. Oh, but before we do so, I want to give a quick disclaimer. So I just recently checked the audio for episode 4, which has already been out for a couple of days now for you guys. And yeah, I recognize that the mic I'm using, maybe it's Discord's fault, maybe it's the mic's fault, maybe it's my broadcast fault, but the quality didn't sound good, not at all. I do
Could be my
apologize
fault.
for that. It could be Gamebox's fault. That is true. We can't rule that one out. But yeah, I've noticed that the audio has not sounded good at all on my part. And if I want to actually have this podcast be a professional endeavor with us too, I gotta sound good. So I have purchased a new mic that will be arriving here at some point. I don't think I'll have it by the next episode, but the episode after that I will sound much more crispier, much cleaner. So I just want to get that out of the way. So yeah, I do acknowledge that I have a trash microphone. Don't worry, I'm getting it sorted out. I'm getting it sorted out for you guys. Um, but yeah. So, Gamebox, do you
Yeah.
like money?
Why, yes, I do. I love money. Everything about me screams money.
Money, 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 money. That is something that Sonic Team now has. So in our first story, guys, what we've been dreaming for, it has happened. Let's go. So recently, I don't know where people got this from. I think it was a announcement Sega put up. It was some sort of thingamajig. Regardless, it's official. The next mainline Sonic game is not only going to have a way bigger budget than Frontiers did, but it will be treated as an actual AAA experience. Moyo Kishimoto has been hyping up their endeavors and their motives to make the next Sonic game the best Sonic game ever made. And we're seeing that they're not kidding around. Not only have they gotten a way bigger budget, but Sega has increased the salary of their employees by 30%. So yeah, no, they're treating this seriously, okay? And this is just sick. So just hearing that, man, like, are you as excited as I am that Sonic is actually gonna not be put together by strings and tape, and it'll have a proper budget for the next mainline title? I agree.
Sorry,
Hello, Gamebox?
was I supposed to say? Was I supposed to say something?
Yeah, I was asking you, I was asking you, like, what do you think of, like, are you as excited as I am about, like, the new budget?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
Yeah,
Looking forward to the next Sonic games.
yeah, dude. Like, it really warms my heart because when you really think about it, the last like really like big budget like AAA experience that we had with Sonic was, I think, Sonic Unleashed. I mean, '06 kind of had a budget, but that game barely functions. PS2 they were cooking out their best, even if the employees were crunched a little bit. But after Unleashed, guys, things got a little weird. Generations, I know Generations is a phenomenal game, but it's pretty short. It's pretty short. Doesn't have that much content. Forces is an embarrassment. And Team Sonic Racing is Team Sonic Racing, and Frontiers, despite its scale and scope of what that project was, it's still very much unpolished. There's a lot of jank to it, and that's just simply because there were a lot of deadlines. They didn't have that many people working on it. And if the game had released with its original release date in 2021, it would not have been playable. So yeah, they're actually treating this franchise seriously and getting like the proper like size staff to work on it, as well as the proper funds. And I just know that a Sonic game with a crazy budget and high ambition will literally be the best game in the franchise without debate. I just know that. Like Sonic games have always had problems in the development. Ever since I probably Adventure 2 is where things like have been crazy ever since. Even though Adventure 2 is a great game, the development of that game is fucking nuts. But yeah, I think we're actually gonna live in a reality where Sonic games are polished. They're completely polished, and they're like what you would the type of experience you would get from that is if you would buy the newest let's say Resident Evil, buy the newest Ratchet and Clank, or the newest just the newest like platformer. It's actually coming back, the newest Crash game. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm
Same
just
here.
imagining Yeah, I'm just imagining like a boss fight on the scale of the Titans and Frontiers, but like with a way bigger budget. And like when I think of that, just some God of War shit pops in my mind. Like that's literally what my mind goes. Just freaking, oh, I can't wait for it. I cannot wait. The future for Sonic is just shining brighter the more information we get, and I love it.
Same. It's absolutely amazing. Look at definitely. I'm I'm really happy with like the ideas of getting a bigger budget and all of that because how do I say this? Is like the past couple of games have been kind of. I mean, I'm not gonna say bad. Only one of them was bad, which was like Sonic Forces, and there was
Yeah.
like Team Sonic Racing, which was pretty decent, and then there was Sonic Forces. No, Sonic Frontiers. I can't speak today. I hate myself. Sonic Frontiers, which was a good game, a very, very good game.
Yeah. Yeah, that just goes to show Sonic Team's talent. Even with the very, very, very limited resources Sega gave them with Frontiers, they still turned out a banger product. And the only signs that you can tell it's slightly unfinished is when you get to the end where they had to like start recycling assets and have a kind of like underwhelming like climax. That's the only like instance where you can tell, okay, well, yeah, this was clearly like not completely finished. I think okay. Look, I hate when people call Frontiers unfinished because it is finished, but like a proper term would be one that describes, you know, it's a finished, complete game, but it could have been a more finished and complete game. That's pretty much it. They did have a climax, they did have an ending, they did have a final island. But it's just it could have been better. And it's clear they just put together something really quickly to make do of the deadlines.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that Sonic optimism out of the way, let's get into some negative territory, some actual like really sad news. So as we know, the comic industry is not looking too hot, okay? With all these big budget movies or all these AAA video games with cinematic stories and amazing like immersion and breathtaking narratives, and novels still offering experience only like novels can give you with their very immersive text and just very descriptive details and great character insights. Of all of that out there, comics are kind of not doing too hot. And that especially applies to IDW. A great analogy that someone put together was basically what happened with Telltale Games a while back. As you guys know, IDW is a comic publishing company, and what they do is they buy the rights to use certain licenses to make comics. For that IP, such as the TMNT series, such as obviously Sonic IDW, all the other stuff, My Little Pony. But what happened to Telltale, which was a gaming studio that also did that, if you guys remember, is their games were making a lot of money. They were doing good, but they weren't doing good enough to make up with the hefty cost of all the different license that they were continuously paying to use. And all of that just kept on accumulating until eventually they had to file for bankruptcy, and that like shut down the company before, it thankfully got saved. And the same thing is kind of happening in IDW where their sales are not looking good, and they're having to axe off a lot of the license that they own to keep themselves afloat. And this is really troubling news because, guys, this is the publishing company that's putting out Sonic IDW, which, as many of us know, is a practically immaculate, like, Sonic comic. It's been amazing. Everyone's loved it. There have been, obviously, Twitter wars about some of the creative choices, but for the most part, it's received a really good reception. Especially because Big Dick Ian Flynn is in charge of it. But now it could be in trouble if IDW Publishing goes under. So does Sonic IDW, the entire comic. This just sucks. Gamebox, hearing this, what are your first thoughts?
As someone who hasn't, who well, to start off, as someone who loves comic books and as someone who has never really read a lot of Sonic IDW comics, I mean, it's kind of sad to hear. It's kind of sad to hear that because, like, with Sonic stories in the comics and other types of Sonic comics in the past, it's just, yeah, damn, man, you know?
Yeah, like this kind of reminds me of the Odyssey series and how that ended because of, Ken Pender's whole fucking ordeal and just like, suing Sega and just all this junk that happened with it. And then Archie
Mhm.
obviously not having the greatest relationship with Sega. That ended, and a lot of people were sad about that because that was literally a 270 issue long series that had been around since 1993, just coming to a abrupt and unsatisfying end during the Sonic CD arc. So yeah, obviously that sucked a lot, but at the very least, people had a glimmer of hope of something else to replace it, that being IDW. Because yes, while it was sad to see like all those stories and characters just erased, just completely done away with. At the very least, they knew that, like, fans could rejoice in the fact that, that series was really convoluted, had many different creative heads involved, and made some pretty wacky decisions, and was overall like kind of a mess creatively, even though there were some amazing stories and characters to come out of that series. So people could at least look forward to like a fresh new start and a fresh new reset. But with this situation, there's no like shimmer of hope or joy. No, there's nothing good. It's just this would just suck because even if they could find another publishing company and put out more Sonic comics, the IDW series has been so good, and yeah, it's just be a shame. It really would just be a shame.
Such sad days for comic books. Such sad days.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm not really a comic guy, guys. I only read like comic books if it's something that I really care about. Like I Sonic IDW. And I will say this, guys. I will go ahead. Even though this may not get too many viewers, or I'm not like a big name in the community, or whatever. I will do my part in saying this. A huge reason why these comics aren't doing well is piracy. It is ridiculously easy to just go online and read the entire Sonic IDW series. It is so easy. Like as I'm talking, I can literally just Google Sonic IDW comics and click the first thing and I'm there. I'm literally there just reading like whole issues. It's super easy. And guys, I get it. The actual comics are really pricey, but just buy them. I'm gonna come out here. I was part of the problem. Okay, I was about to do like a whole IDW like series review, and I wasn't gonna just pay like a cumulative of $100 to just read the comics legally. So I was just gonna go and read them all online. But after hearing about this, I kind of don't feel comfortable doing that anymore. So I literally just ordered the hard book collection of Volume 1 of Sonic IDW, which contains the first 12 issues. And I'll be reading and reviewing that, but I'm just not gonna pirate these comics anymore because it's already a struggling industry and so many creative people work on them. And it's just a shame that they're having this much financial trouble. So yeah, definitely do your part. If you want to if you want to read the Sonic IDW comics and get really immersed in like the talented work of Ian Flynn, and all the amazing people involved, then support it. Support it by buying it through legal means, because that's what I'm going to do from now on, and I encourage you guys to do the same.
Yeah. Give Ian Flynn
Uh,
some
what's up?
give Ian Flynn some love.
Yes, give Ian Flynn some sloppy toffee. Come on, guys. We
Yeah.
all need to do our part.
And does it actually cost like up like what was it? What was it you said? Like $100 for a comic book?
No, 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 no. Okay, I was saying it was $100. It was a cumulative of $100 for the entire series. Okay, so basically,
Mm.
like,
Oh,
there's independent issues, but there's also hard book collections that contain like certain volumes. And I was referring to the hard book collection because right now, volume one of the hard book collection is $38 is the one I just bought, and then volume two is like $43, and then volume three, which is like yet to release, is like what, $55. It's pretty pricey. I understand why people would pirate it, but I mean, they're kind of worth it. Not only is the art amazing, but just the stories involved are amazing. And plus, it just feels good owning a comic series and knowing that like it's yours forever. And once like
mm.
all the print becomes super rare, do you know how expensive it is to go and try to buy like the Archie series online? Bruh, try to get any issue. You're gonna be paying like hundreds of dollars. No. So like having them physically will just like be really rewarding. So yeah, I really encourage you guys to go out and buy it. If you guys have no clue what I'm talking about, if you've never read Sonic IDW, please, 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 please give it a read. It's so good. It's like something. You know what? I'd say it's the best Sonic storytelling that we've had probably since Black Knight, guys. Like it's that good. Please go read it. I'd say like please just go read it.
Here's a shocking fact for you. Um, so in town we've got like a comic shop,
Hmm.
and the comics are surprisingly pretty cheap.
Really?
Like I think somewhere around 3-5 pounds or so. And if you want like the rare comics, like I swear to Jesus, they sell fucking fucking old comic books, like the comic books from like 1980, like from the 1980s or even the fucking 1960s. Like Jesus Christ, which are pretty pricey. I will say that.
Yeah, but like it's cool, man. That like you got like an actual like comic shop that's like that's doing hopefully well in terms of business and it's like selling a lot of cool comics.
Yeah, I'd say it's doing pretty well.
Yeah, but yeah, no, guys, it's a bit of sad news, but okay, just to add some sort of optimism and just close out the situation. I think there is a good chance that Sonic IDW will survive because I did mention that yes, they are letting go of a lot of licenses that they have the rights to in order to like save on costs. But Sonic IDW is like one of their best selling comic book series right now. So I think that like that would be like the last one they will let go of. And hopefully like maybe they've axed off all the other licenses, but they keep Sonic around because they know it's a profitable IP. They know it's one of their best selling series and with all those other licenses cut, they're able to like make back what they're putting out. So let's hope that it starts doing better. I mean, we just gotta encourage the fandom to buy more of them. Like if everyone who's like really active in the fandom were buying like the IDW comics, then that would surely like keep them afloat. So yeah, guys, let's buy them. Let's read them.
Please, it's got Sally Acorn in them, and I like Sally Acorn. And please buy them, please.
I
Great
was not
character.
aware Sally Acorn was in IDW, but you know what? If that makes you buy the comic, go buy it, guys. Go get it.
You can get it a Haunted Dreams.
Is Sally in IDW? I don't think she is, right? They haven't used the Freedom Fighter since
Uh,
the end of the Archie line.
let me check. I always keep my
Yeah,
phone with me next to me.
I don't think Sega allows them to use anyone from the Freedom Fighters because they were just so fed up of like all the crap that happened with Archie. They was just like, no, all of the Western influences and crap, just leave it behind. Just
Yeah.
no.
It says on one of the. I don't know if it's. Sorry. Let me just check. One of the long term.
It sucks that like Ken Penders was such a nemesis to Sega that they do not allow their writers to do whatever they want anymore. He had full creative freedom, and that led to them losing so many characters and like a lot of money. So yeah,
Turns out I was wrong. It's Archie. My bad. My bad.
Okay, yeah. The IDW has Neo Metal. It has Sage. I have no clue. Not Sage. Surge. I have no clue who Surge is, but apparently she's cool. So yeah, that's enough, guys. Go buy him.
Please buy it. It's good.
Yeah. I guess we're really switching from like positive to negative to positive, but another positive that I actually just thought about that would be make for some good discussion. Well, not for some good discussion, but just something cool to bring up during this news section. Sonic X. So we've had a Blu-ray DVD of the English dub of Sonic X for years now. Like it's existed for a while, but a lot of people prefer to show sub. Even though I personally love the English dub, I think it's just fine. Sub is definitely the better alternative because not only is that the original like dialogue of the show and like the dialogue that's like it's how the show was constructed in mind of the dialogue there, but it's just overall like the characters act better and just the dialogue's better, guys. The dialogue's better, and some could argue that the soundtrack is also better in the sub version. And we finally got our wish. The sub version of Sonic X is now coming to Blu-ray after all these long years. So yeah, if you're a Sonic X fan, go buy it. Right now it's available for pre-order on Amazon and also other sites as well. Look into it. I was close to getting it, but it's like $60, and I really want to get into IDW already. So I chose like IDW before getting that Blu-ray, but it will be in my hands soon enough. Do not worry, guys. But yeah, I just go check that out. I know Gamebox has never watched much of Sonic X, but like how does this make you feel?
Honestly, I would actually try to get that. Like I'm looking up the Blu-rays right now, and it's like, dear Lord, I just want to get the complete series. Why is it too expensive?
Yeah, it's like $60.
No.
Uh,
Why?
I, I mean, to be fair, like the entire series is available on streaming on multiple platforms. It's on Netflix. At least the first two seasons are in the English dub. Hulu has both the English version and the sub version. Um, on the complete series, and YouTube has the entirety of the English version available on there for free as well. But but like apparently there's a lot of cool new features of this Blu-ray. They have all the openings. They did some meddling with the scenes to like restore them to their true quality and make them like look perfect. And this is a bunch of cool extras for this Blu-ray release. And plus you own Sonic X physically, so that's just cool. I really wanted it, but it's not going anywhere. So whenever I get some money again, I'm definitely gonna be purchasing it.
Yeah. To be honest, I like to own a lot of stuff physically, because like the whole thing with Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Lionsgate Plus, I don't have them in like DVDs and CDs. That's kind of like the reasons why I decided to buy Batman Returns on a DVD, because I had it on my Amazon, but then I was like, actually, I want to own it physically, so just went and got the DVD instead.
Yeah, oh no, it feels really good owning stuff physically because like those streaming services, things can get removed, things can be changed, and all this crap, and they're not permanent. You have to continuously pay for them. But when you own something physically, it's yours. Like you own the thing. Like Sonic Movie 2, for example. Like before I got the Blu-ray, I had Paramount Plus that I could watch it on, but they just like removed the first movie, so it's like, man, that sucks. They would to decide to remove the second movie. There'd be no way to watch it, like at least legally. So that sucked. But it's in my hands, guys. I'm holding it in my hands right now. I have the movie. Physical releases are awesome because you actually own it, like physically, because it feels good. And plus, for those of us collectors out there, it can just be like really satisfying, like collecting a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Like I've got like a lot of DVDs in my possession. Like I'll send like the full collection to you on Discord. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Oh
That's how good
yeah.
I am at collecting DVDs. I'm just in love with them. And it's better than shitty streaming services. If they're not
having
time
to
collection.
having to pay for like six different streaming services so you can watch most movies.
That
Uh,
yeah, I'm not paying that amount of money for Disney Plus. Disney suck my balls.
yeah, like look, guys, I don't condone piracy, of like things that have come out recently. Like if it's like, not even a year old or like 2 years old, then like pirating it is just a sucky thing. But if it's a really old movie, if the studio is not making any money from it or whatever, and it's just retailers, pirate the damn thing. I that's what I do. Okay, I sell the seven seas a lot. If I want to watch Iron Man 2 and I don't want to like sell my soul to Disney, I'll just go on like some random website, just watch it. Like it's just, yeah, that just, if you guys want to show like, if you guys want to reform the streaming industry, just start pirating more, start risking viruses more. That's the way to do it. That's the correct option.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we just got done with a positive thing, so you know what that means. Let's go over to a negative topic. And like I said, guys, we have a lot of news that happened this past week, but this one is slightly a little more personal, not to me, but just to the people involved. And I'm not gonna we're not gonna probably stay on it for too long, but I feel awkward not bringing it up because there was like a pretty big thing that was going around, and I want to give my 2 cents on it because I've been seeing so many stupid ass dumb takes about this whole like dumb drama that's been going on. So yeah, I just thought we'd talk about it. At the very least, bring it up. The whole Emmy Jones and Ryan Drummond situation. Not just that. That's what
Ooh.
everyone's talking about, but the whole Emmy drama that's been like just going off on Twitter and what everyone's been talking about. Yeah, let's talk about that in this fun little episode of Let's Talk Sonic, shall we? Instead of talking about Sonic, let's talk about two real people's personal lives. um,
Doxing.
it's
Well, it's not really doxing, but it's part of the joke, if you guys know what I mean. It's Gamebox humor.
just accept joke.
Just get.
But yeah, for those of you who are unfamiliar, Sonic creator Sass, I'm not familiar with her. I didn't know about her before this, but apparently she's like a really valuable and like beloved member of the community. She recently just posted a document that detailed a variety of things, most of which were in direct relation to Emmy Jones, who you guys know is also a beloved, member of the community, a Sonic creator who's known for their series Sonic and Tails R, which is on YouTube, and that I literally mentioned like a few episodes ago and all that. And a lot of the stuff did not paint her let's just say in a favorable light. So basically, what's going on is Seth claims that Emmy played a part in kind of covering up sexual assault that was going on with her. She claims that it was just not Emily. I don't know where I get Emily from. That may be a real name. I don't know. She confirms that Emmy was kind of a manipulative person and just like underplayed a lot of like mental anguish and torment she went through, and it's overall not really a good person behind the scenes. And what was crazy about the document is it dropped a bombshell. Her and well-known Sonic voice actor who voiced Sonic in Sonic Adventure, Adventure 2, Heroes, Ryan Drummond, she and Ryan Drummond, who she also got to play Sonic in her Sonic and Tails R series, have had sexual relations, and I feel very uncomfortable bringing this up. But like I said, guys, like this is news, so technically, like I feel it feels weird not bringing it up. But just put it like in terms, yeah, they have a personal they had a personal thing that they did like way back, and the entire community just like blew up when all of this information came out and just made like a lot of jokes around it. And yeah, that's that's what we're talking about. What do you know of the drama Gamebox? Have you like seen much of it, or what's going on?
It's been all over my Twitter, in all honesty. Like, a lot of people are just some people I've heard from a couple of tweets that it was like those types of things. This, like, for other people, it's understandable, but for me, it gets so annoying where it's the whole, oh my god, it's ruined my childhood type thing. It's like, it's guy having, it's just humans doing their business. Like, calm down. And
Yeah, dude,
it's
it's so
funny.
dumb.
Well, the only part I find funny is everyone's getting upset over sex. But
Yeah.
like grown adults just doing it. Like what?
There were two both legal consenting adults. Like Emmy was literally a 29-year-old woman who's turning 30, And Ryan Drummond is like 50, it's like what, like 50, 51? I don't know his exact age, but like he's in his 50s. Literally just two consenting adults who want to do something. Yeah, that's that. I find that so dumb that there were so many serious allegations that came out about Emmy, and everyone blew that up. Like, I get it was back. Okay, so apparently, like, people was like it came out that Ryan Drummond used his sonic voice during sex, but oh god, it feels so weird to talk about. But Emmy just recently it's so fucking dumb. But 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 Emmy just recently debunked that and said like that was just a joke between her and her friends, and that wasn't like an actual thing that happened. But like I get that, like, when that was like what everyone believed, it was like a pretty funny situation. But yeah, no, it's just weird how everyone hyper focus on that, and yeah, so now everything's cleared up. People also thought that Ryan Drummond was cheating on his wife because he wasn't legally divorced at the time this happened, but it was confirmed that he was separated at the time that they did do this thing, and yeah, there was nothing wrong that happened there. It just happened one night, and they were exploring a personal relationship. And it is so strange that all of this is just public information that we're talking about right now. So yeah. In case any of you guys are wondering, if any of you are thinking about playing the adventure games on sub, look, guys, Ryan Drummond did nothing wrong. That's all cleared up. He did not cheat. He did not like exploit power over a fan because apparently it was an actual like consenting thing that the two were like exploring at the time. And he did not use the sonic voice. Okay. It was just plain and simple, something that happened between them two, and that's all that. So from now on, Gamebox, do you have anything to add with this bizarre story that we're talking about?
The only thing I can say is that if it was true that he was using the Sonic voice, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. If he was actually, I'm
It's
just being
kind of funny.
honest, if he actually used his Sonic voice, that's funny. That's just hilarious.
Yeah, like I don't think he did, but because I mean, it has come out and said that like they both that he didn't do it, but it's funny. But yeah, so that we're now moving on from that and actually talking about like the real drama with this, because that was just something dumb that the community was fixated on. But so yeah, a lot of stuff been coming about Emmy Jones, and along with the drama between her and Seth, it's also come out that she did not pay Mike Pollock for his performance in Sunken Tales art, which has been confirmed on his end to be a communication error. It wasn't like, well, okay, I don't want to put words in his mouth. He didn't come out and say it was communication error, but like what he did say is that he is discussing it with Emmy. Like, like this may just be a big misunderstanding because it's a fan made series, and he thought that he was doing like a quick cameo to like uplift people's spirits during COVID. He did not know he was voicing in like this actual like whole radio drama series. So yeah, but people have been blasting her about not paying, her actors and all of this stuff. And yeah, it's just before I put my 2 cents. What do you think hearing all of this, Gamebox?
Um, in all honesty, like, oh god, I really do not know what to say in this
Oh,
situation.
but before you add anything, I
Ooh,
also want to say that also is allegations that she did. Oh no, this got debunked. Okay, I was gonna say that it was also alleged that she commissioned a minor to draw like Sonic X Tails art, like Sun Tails art, which is basically okay. People ship Sonic and Tails. I don't know why. Tails is like 8 years old. This fandom is literally the fucking
oh,
Wild West. I
oh,
don't know
hey,
what's going on anymore.
to the Sonic fan, to some of those Sonic fans out there, age is a thing. Age is a thing.
Oh my fucking god! There's literally like this Twitter account that's been going on, like trying to like just convince everyone that like Suntest is a good ship. Just top, but yeah. So on Emmy's side, she did confirm that like she was doing a commission, and like she wasn't actually like she's not basically she in short terms she's not actually like a Santel shipper. She was just doing like art or whatever. But yeah, Seth did confirm that she wasn't a minor when she was asked to like draw this, draw that. But But yeah. But you go ahead and go on with what you were saying, Gamebox. I just wanted to also throw in that information because I thought I had forgot a important allegation, but it did get debunked recently.
No. Oh god. In all honesty, this this thing is just so out of hand. Like this whole Twitter thing, and again the thing with Mike Pollock and stuff. Like, I really do not know how things can go because as someone who is working on a project with some of my friends, this guy sitting next to me included, well, virtually because it's a different time zone
Oh
thing,
yeah, we
but
are like miles away.
yeah. But what but I'd say the difference is that we're friends. We like doing this. This is fun, and this is just
Hmm.
something for like round, just something for us to enjoy and stuff. But this is like an actual voice actor.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if this was meant to be the case or something like that. But if it was, then um, yikes.
Yeah. So I'll just go ahead and say what I think, guys. This is just like a bunch of like he said, who said, just stuff that's been going on. And like some people are gonna probably think that I'm just being like biased and favorable towards Emmy. I'm gonna say this: if it's confirmed that Emmy like did actually like intentionally like underplay all the like like awful stuff that was going on with Cess, and like this was like a legitimate issue, I will stop supporting her like easily. But I do not think this is the case. But I'm not gonna say I know this is the case. You wanna know why, guys? Because we don't know what the hell went down. Okay, there are like there's like what, two or three documents. So Seth put up her document first, and then Amy put up her response document second, which a lot of people don't like seem to ignore because like people are accusing her of not addressing like the actual real allegations. So now it's the first thing she did day one with her own document. And then Seth responded to that document with her own point. So I think what I personally think. I'm not gonna say I know anything concrete about the situation. This is like an actual like pretty serious topic, but I will say this just seems like really, really personal, private drama between two people who like, and it was just a big miscommunication error of whatever the hell was going on. And I do not think it should have been made public because there are some of Emmy fans who are saying some really bad stuff about Cess that who claim that she's been like playing this document for years now. And there's people on like who Cess knows personally who like are backing up her claims and saying they have bad experiences with Emmy. There is so much going on, and we do not know everything. We don't have all the facts. So I'm personally, I'm not coming to a conclusion. I don't think anyone on Twitter should be coming to a conclusion, but that's Twitter, so that's
No.
what they're going to do. But yeah, I'm still gonna support Emmy. I didn't know who Cess was, but I'm definitely gonna like support her stuff as well. They both seem like really two nice, talented creators. We just don't know like what the hell is going on because like there's a bunch of allegations, there's a lot of alleged things, there's this and that. And by the time this episode comes out, the story could have updated because there's so much going on. Maybe Amy comes back from her mental retreat and a bunch of stuff escalates. I don't know. It's just yeah. But I was debating whether to have this included in the news section because it's such a weird personal matter. But it's the biggest news that's happened this week. So I felt like I just had to put it in here. But
Yeah.
yeah. Final thoughts on all of this game box.
Um, Pretty much the only thing I could say is that the whole thing, it's really like the whole Ryan Drummond Emmy Jones thing is weird as hell for me. But the whole thing with Seth or anything like that, it's not really that good. And I've not really been like a big fan of Emmy Jones. Like I haven't seen a lot of her work, but yeah, just um just yikes. That's pretty much all I can say.
Yeah, I just hope this doesn't severely affect the mental health of anyone involved. Like, Seth has literally, like, seen a lot of people like using this as an excuse to like, be sexist and like slut shame Emmy for, like having relations to Ryan and all that. And like she's even like, like talked bad about this behavior and said like this is just not good and is unacceptable and it's causing her mental problems. And then Emmy literally had to like leave the internet for a little bit while all this is going on because like her mental health's not like great concerning all this, and it just sucks. And like it sucks that Twitter is a thing that exists, not the site, but just the people in it, because no one knows how to think critically about anything. No one knows how to like actually just like like give credit to like not give credit, but like what's the give people leeway and try to like see like what I'm trying to say is people are really quick to demonize on that app. Like all it takes is one allegation, not one confirmed instance of something happening, not one actual like documented case of someone doing this. No, just one allegation, and already everyone's just like it's just demonizing this person, making them out to be a huge villain, using this as an excuse to send death threats or be racist or whatever. And it's not. This is not just Emmy, an Emmy thing. This is like a Twitter thing. I've seen this happen so many times with so many different creators. The Paul Jared situation is a great example. How like his ex wife or ex girlfriend, someone put out something about him, and before he could even respond, the internet, he was already like the internet's number one enemy, and people were using it as a way to like body shame him and talk about his looks and all that, and just he couldn't even like get out a response because like everyone was already like decided that he was just evil, and no one knows how to like just look at both sides and try to think critically about anything. It's just I hate the internet. I love the internet, but I hate it as much as I love it. It's just dumb. So yeah, like I said, if it turns out that Emmy is a bad person behind the scenes and like did put Seth through a lot of like mental torment because she's like a bad person, very manipulative, I'll stop supporting her like easily. Like I love her work, I love the stuff she's done, but like that gives you no excuse to just be a bad person. But we do not know all the facts. We don't know what's true and what's not. We don't know what's alleged or what's not. So we just need to back off and just right now, I just view this as like a private issue that should have stayed private. But that's just me. I don't want to talk bad about Seth because like she could like is and could very well be the victim here. But I don't think she should have made this public. I think this should have been something that was like settled privately. But that's just what I think. That's just what I think. Ah. All right, so let's talk about Sonic, shall we?
Yes.
Let's
Sing.
get away. Let's get far away from whatever we were just talking about. All right. Let's step back and just regroup. Let's go back to cartoon Blue Hedgehog and Big Sound Value. Let's go. Our last bit of news, with this crazy week of Sonic news is something that happened today that was pretty funny. Moro Kishimoto talking about Sonic's love life and how, he could be paired with characters like Amy or whoever, and finally settle down with somebody. And the mere mention of Amy in this tweet has made the fan base just blow up. It took just that, just oh, because you have people who are in the replies and quote tweeting him, being like, "Yes, yes, please make Son Amy canon. Yes, this is all we've wanted." And then you have people who are like, "No, for the love of God, no, don't do this. Okay, ship should not be canon. This should not be a thing. This will ruin the series. Do not do this." And it's just been wild. So what do you think of this game box? What side are you on? Okay, you little Saw Alley infiltrator. Okay, I'm just kidding, but what do you think of all of this? Like, I know this is really dumb, but what are your thoughts?
Well, as much as I not a big fan of like the whole ship it thing, and yes, like Sly said, I kind of do ship Sonic and Sally Acorn, but not to the extent where it's like fan fiction worthy. But just to the point where it's like, huh, I think they're a cute couple. That there's something there. But pardon me.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I've also seen the tweet as well, and just seen the comments. Everyone's like praising, like it's yes on Amy, and then other comments are like, no, the fan base will just be up in arms and all that. All I can say is that I don't mind it as long as I mean the my issue isn't the fact that it's canon, it's the people who want it to be canon. Because of course there's the side that are like, oh, it's canon, thank God. But there's also that side who are like who might be, I can't fully judge them on this, but my fear is if it will be like, oh yes, it's canon, fuck the other shippings, and then just go onto Twitter pages and like group pages saying your ship's not canon, our ship is canon, because like, just like, just stop being a dick, you know? So I'm like,
Yeah.
and surprisingly, there were a couple of like Twitter posts or replies saying that it should be Sonado.
Oh, that was really funny. A lot of people were thinking, I mean, would you be mad? I wouldn't
No,
be mad.
no.
Oh, fuck.
It'd be like, it'd be pretty cool. I mean, I was gonna say it'd be really funny, but again, I don't want to sound that. I hope that doesn't come across as offensive or anything like that, because that's been like
Yeah.
a whole thing. It's been like a whole thing with the Sonic fan base. Like Son Amy's like a big ship, and then there's like Sonado, and then Son Ali's there, but Son Ali's like the fucking black, like the little bull, like the kid who gets bullied at school, and then you get all these other ships that go, "What the fuck are you doing? You're not from the real line games. Give me your fucking money." Like, bro, calm down. It's just a shipping story. And
It literally none of it matters.
yeah, and those fucking fan fictions, man. Jesus Christ. Even Son Ali's bad for this.
Oh yeah, like shipping wars are so exhausting because it is possibly the greatest waste of energy I think I've ever seen like a part of humanity exhibit. Like it is so dumb. I like my thoughts on this, right? I think Sonic and Amy make a cute couple. If Sonic was to get with anyone in the entire series, I'd pick Amy because I think it makes the most sense narratively, and they're just kind of cute together. It's nice for Amy to have some sort of payoff, being completely obsessed with this dude for like freaking 30 years now. But me personally, and this is gonna sound crazy, at the end of the day, I just really don't care. Like, because someone did make a good point, and that's the fact that Sonic was conceptualized to not really be romantically involved at all. Like, it just does not fit his character. He is a nomad who likes traveling the road and doing his own thing and playing by his own rules. And it's just kind of out of character for him to settle down with somebody. I know that he did settle down with basically every single Archie female in that series, but that was Archie Sonic. That's not Game Sonic. It's two separate continuities. So like that worked for that version, but this might not work for the game version. So yeah, either way, I don't really care as long as it makes sense narratively. I don't care who they pair Sonic with, freaking Sun Blaze. I don't care. As long as like it just makes sense story-wise, who cares? This is the biggest waste of energy. It literally does not matter. It really doesn't. These are not real people. These are like just like cartoon characters. Like just it's so dumb. It's so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Um
And like those, like I mentioned before with the fan fictions and stuff, a lot of them are just Sonic going to high school, and it's like a Twilight fan fiction, but with Sonic characters and no vampires existing. It's so bad.
That part of the fandom is the part that I'm glad that I've stayed away from because I do not
Yeah,
want to and be involved with that. Is so see those people are what gives the Sonic fandom such a negative rep. Those
yeah.
it's these freaking people.
And if you're one of those guys watching our videos, we're so sorry, but we're just being honest.
I
Sorry.
don't care about your Son Amy Twilight fan fiction, okay? It's just a lot of you people can be really toxic, okay? Like the
Yeah.
chauvinist of Sonic Boom receives so many death threats because like they made fun of Son Amy in one episode, and it's just like, dude, stop. It does
Yeah.
not matter.
And on the other side, go write some better fan fictions like the fucking Car 69 fan fiction. Go write that.
Exactly. Yes. Yes, 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 absolutely.
Or better yet, go write a Resident Evil fan fiction.
Do anything. Just do anything that would be better for your time. Like anything else. Like knit some scarves. I don't care what you do. Just stop. I'm mostly joking by the way, guys. I don't really care what you do with your time. It's up to, as long as you're living your best life, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But I was really just
I'll get
joking.
into
But
Twitter arguments.
huh?
Oh, I just added as long as anyone else, as long as they're not getting into Twitter arguments.
Yeah. As long here, you know what? As long as you're just not a toxic human being, then feel free to do whatever you want with your time. I think
Yeah,
that's like a really good compromise. Just don't be a annoying, intolerable human being, and we're all good.
yeah. Oh yeah, if someone doesn't like your fan fiction, you can just like the comment or so, and if you want to comment, just say I respect your opinion. Like, back in like I know this is like off topic and stuff, but I put out a Storyfire post a while back saying something like, "I think Batman Returns is the best Batman movie," and just something like that. And then someone commented saying, "I think it's a bad Batman movie because Batman kills and all that jazz." And I pretty much just commented back, "Respect."
Yeah.
That's it. Like, just
I
say,
I just
"I
I I
respect."
just
That's it.
recently had a Twitter encounter where like me and this guy kind of like went back and forth because like he thought Infinite was actually a really awesome villain in Forces, and you guys know what I think of Forces. I think every creative decision narratively was just awful, and including Infinite. So like we had like an exchange where I was like, I think he's a bad character and didn't live up to his potential. And the other guy was like, no, with this, and he was making some really valid and good arguments against me. Like he was really well articulate, like had proof, had images, like he was smoking me in that argument, even though I still think he's an awful character. He did really well. And we ended it by just agreeing to disagree. It was just like mad respect, man. And I respect that guy for just, like having an opinion that's different from the norm, but being pretty respectful and just civil about it. I just wish that's how the internet was. But it's not. It's not.
Yeah, it's stupid. I don't like when
Uh,
people get on like that. Like, guys, please be friends, please.
no. K yourself, scrub. We're gonna stop.
Cuts to
But
black, movie ends.
but yeah, guys. So any last thing you want to say about the whole Son Amy thing, Gamebox?
Stop being toxic and be nice, please.
Yes. Yes, I agree. Stop being toxic and just be civil on the internet, and especially on Twitter. No one will heed this advice, but it's worth it. It's worth trying at least.
Yeah.
All right, but with that said, we are finally done with the news section. I told you guys there was a lot of news to discuss. There's a lot of stuff that's happened the past week. By the time this episode goes up, some of the stuff will probably be outdated because some other crazy things just happened, but we'll cover it on the next episode. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's delve into the main topic of today's episode, which is Sonic Frontiers 2, the very much anticipated sequel that a lot of us Sonic nerds can't stop speculating about, can't stop thinking about. It's living in our head rent free because of how much potential that a game like this has. Before we actually get into what we want from that game, I'll start with asking Gamebox this simple question. So, out of all the things in Sonic Frontiers, what did you not like in that game?
I'd say the thing I really didn't like was, well, I'm gonna exclude the pop in because that was like a big problem I hated.
Yeah,
But if I had to choose something else, I'd say I wish we had better cutscenes, in my opinion. Just because, like, there were a couple of points where some of the cutscenes just felt a bit too stiff, and some of the
very
emotions,
janky.
yeah, and then the emotions of the characters just like I heard people say, oh, it was like a big improvement or something like that, and I'd say it was a slight improvement because yes, they were moving their eyebrows a bit, but not to the extent of like a Sonic Unleashed or a Sonic Generations, but pretty much it's just to get better with like cutscenes and just trying to make the characters expressive, like what Sonic Prime did, and
Hmm.
just a. And I think this one might be already solved, but just getting a bigger budget instead of like
Yes.
reusing assets, because it's like I get they're trying to apparently like what they said was it was trying to like do like something from Sonic's memory, and it's like okay, but still
That's the
okay.
in-universe explanation that they gave it.
Yeah, personally, I would it would have just been like make something new but keep textures or so.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. That's the only things I didn't like.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of that. The animation was a little stiffy. The pop in was a little emotion breaking. I don't think it was as bad as some people were making it out to be, but yeah, no, it's kind of unacceptable for a game released in 2022 on like the PS5 and Series S. Is just odd. But yeah, no, I agree with all that, and they definitely need a bigger budget. The things that I specifically didn't like in Frontiers, it's weird because it's not like I didn't like it, but it's something that would be unacceptable in the sequel because I can understand why it's the way it is in Frontiers. I completely understand it, but this needs to not come back, and that's the way the cyber stages play. Every time I come back to Frontiers, I'm looking forward to playing it more. And then I instantly get turned off and I realize, oh wait, if I want these vault keys, I gotta play these cyber stages. That's like that turns me off because the cyber stages are just not a lot of fun on VP playthroughs. They're not at all. First major problem is, like Gamebox pointed out, the reused assets. It's so tiring. I'm so sick of Green Hill, of looking at it. I'm so sick of looking at Chemical Plant. Sky Sanctuary, it hasn't one off, but with this game, it's finally one off. And the city environment they had looked neat, but that's it. That's pretty much it. Yeah, please stop. Stop using these classic stages. It was cool in Generations, it was lame in Forces, and it is just pathetic now. Stop.
Mhm.
I really don't like just the reused levels, and the way they play Sonic's movement is just awful. He is so janky to control. Like he's so sensitive, it's hard to steer him. And what did they do to the homing attack? Like when he home attacks, like in a previous game, it's like boop, 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 boop. Like you locking onto enemies, you're freaking just destroying them in your ball form, just like kind of like zigzagging. It was quick, it was fluid, it was neat. In Forces, they nailed the homing attack. In Sonic Forces, but in Frontiers, it's like he home attacks an enemy, goes and just pauses in midair. Then he almost attack another enemy, pauses in midair, and then just again and again and again, and it's just dumb. The boost in the game is just so lackluster, man. Like I get the
Mhm.
bouncing behind not having it destroy enemies, whatever, but it's just your run button. If you're not using the boost, you are slow as heck. And in games like Generations and Unleashed, the boost was just that. It was a boost, but your default running speed was still enough to get Sonic through the level. It was just the boost helped you out tremendously, and it could lead you to like cooler like shortcuts. Whereas with this game now, the boost is just your run button. It's you just
Yeah.
might as well be playing Lost Road. That's how you get around fast. um, and yeah, the level design was a vast improvement from the garbage that Forces gave us. That's the one thing that carries the cyberspace levels. There's some cool shortcuts, there's some cool different alternative pathways, but there's not enough, and the levels are like really, really short. So I can tolerate playing the substages. I don't necessarily hate them, but I don't really like them either. They're easily the game's biggest flaw. And I would they like I understand why they like that in Frontiers because of a low budget, limited workers or whatever. I can excuse it. But with this next game they're making, oh, and the fact that it is an improvement. But in the next game they're making, if it plays like similar to this at all, I am going to be really upset. That will be enough to like take away some of my enjoyment from the sequel if they ever get around to making that. If it plays like the 7 levels and like reuses assets, no. I
Yeah.
highly doubt that'll be the case, but just no.
Mhm. Like if they were to keep the just the way how cyberspace controls, it's just like, oh my god, this is just not gonna be fun.
Yeah. Another thing that I want to say is how easy the puzzles and activities were. I don't mind how easy the open zone activities were, but I wish they were a little more engaging because on repeat playthroughs they get really repetitive and boring to do really quick. It's fun to explore the open zone and like slowly unlock the map one by one by doing these activities, but the process of actually completing the activity, it's not all that fun. It's pretty bare bones. It's pretty standard. There are some cool activities, like when you're on that floor of all the squares, and you got like like deactivate all of like the lit up squares without like stepping away or stepping off of it in one go. But, stuff like that's fun. But then there's also other things like the hamster wheel or the parry activity, where all you're doing is just like holding down the boost button or just holding down L1 and R1, and it's just boring. The jump rope puzzle would be neat if you couldn't just cheese it by parrying in midair and just floating. Yeah, it's I do expect a higher level of effort to go into some of the activities and stuff if the next game does like carry over this open zone format. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all my major gripes of Frontiers. Completing to some of the puzzles can be really boring. Oh, the skill tree. I really love the skill tree in Frontiers. And this isn't something I don't like, but I do think a lot of the skills were kind of underwhelming. Some of them were just not really like all that useful, and they could do a better job of improving that in the next game.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's pretty much all like my cons of the game.
Yeah, I agree with those. I agree with the skill tree. The skill tree one it just fell a bit. It was just in my opinion. Like it wasn't bad, but it's like it's useful.
It
That's
was
pretty
a
much the
nice inclusion, and I loved like the function of it, but I feel like the execution could have been a little better.
yeah.
Especially since you can literally unlock like all the skills like by the end of like Island 2 if you're playing on normal. Or
Yeah.
or like Island 3 if you're playing on hard. It's just yeah, like you should. Well, actually, no, you don't do that on hard. I cannot speak. Wow. You don't have the whole thing unlocked if you're playing on hard, but on normal or easy, yeah, no, it's way too easy to like unlock it like instantly. So yeah. But okay, so that's all the stuff that we wouldn't really. A lot of people would probably like include the final boss of Supreme, but I don't necessarily mind that fight. And I understand why that's the way that was. So I don't dislike the fight. It's just would have been cool if it was better, but I don't think it's like necessarily a con. It's just
Mhm.
whatever. I thought the ending of the game was overall pretty neat.
Yeah. Personally, I get what they're going for, but I really wish they didn't really have the whole Galaga like fight. But again, that's just me. But I just wish there could have been something a little bit better, you know?
Oh, you mean like the bullet hell of the moon?
The end. I wish there could have been something else better with that. Like
Yeah,
I
I
get
didn't mind it. I thought it was a cool bonus. What's up?
oh no, it was just saying I wish they could have done something else a bit different, like something similar to Sonic Unleashed, but if it's for like story reasons then okay, that's acceptable.
Yeah. Like I think they wanted to do something to reward people for playing on hard, and they were like, "Oh, well, we added this like this cool extra boss fight." But then, one of the second employees were like, "Guys, we have $2 left in the budget. We we can't do this." And someone thought last minute, "Hey, have you guys played Undertale? Let's just do that. Like, let's just have a floating moon image JPEG, just like moving around this cool background. Let's have like epic music playing. Let's just do like an Undertale fight." And that's what happened. And yeah, I don't like I get why people would be upset with it. I understand I wasn't like, it didn't live up to like what the game was setting up, but I thought it was just fine. I don't mind it. I do get why people dislike it though.
Yeah.
Okay, well, with that all out of the way, I'm telling you guys, we go from positivity to negativity to positivity. Let's talk about like what we liked in Frontiers and what we would keep in the game. Starting with Gamebox, what did you not only like but would like to see like be implemented more in the future game? Like
Um
what in Frontiers would you carry over the next game? Basically, is what I'm saying.
I'd like to keep the I would definitely like to keep the Psy loop because that's fun.
Yes. Oh, such a good move.
Controlling the Psy loop is fun as hell. Like whenever I play Sonic Frontiers, I mostly use the Psy loop because of how fun it is. Like if you crank all your levels like up in your settings, you're gonna have a blast.
Yeah.
What else would I keep the mini games? Bigs fishing, but I would like to make it a little bit more challenging. And same with the barbecue one.
Yeah, I okay. So my friend just bought Frontiers, and I was watching him play it, and he completely shocked me. I did not know you didn't need any Bitcoins to like do the barbecue mini game to like get fish tokens. I had no clue that was a thing, and that completely breaks the entire economy of the game. I did not know that. That is crazy. Yeah, they definitely. I agree. Like I want to see that carried over too, but they need to nerf it.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's just my this is just a quick tangent about it, but I don't know if it's just me, but my copy of Sonic Frontiers, the moment the mini games were loading up, like the river was like texture like just going all over the place with its textures and stuff. Like I can like the moment I'm at the water, it's like a TV static. It just pops in, then it pops out and stuff.
Oh wow.
And it feels like it's like you're entering a Minecraft world, like you're creating a new world and like it just opens up like that. It's like the world's loading in as it like as the you start entering it.
Jeez.
But that could just be my copy though.
Yeah, I don't think it's a copy. It could be like just, I've been into technical issues and I was playing on PS5, so I could definitely see like last gen versions of the game like not being like really optimized properly.
Yeah, but yeah, just depends. Uh, what else would I keep? Uh, oh wow.
Yeah, it's kind of
um,
like a loaded question because there's just so much that comes to mind.
yeah, like I'm trying to think of keep the idea of the open zone. I will say that. Keep that idea because I
Hmm.
like that. Keep the maps bigger because I haven't actually told you this, but my favorite map in Sonic Frontiers is the second open zone.
Ares Island?
Yeah, Ares Island. Because I'm just exploring that like mad. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, a lot of people say like Ares Island is definitely their favorite, and like I can see that because Kronos is a little small. Chaos is just completely fucked, and our animals can be a little bare bones. So I definitely understand the love towards Ares. I love Ares as well.
Hmm. I would say I'm good. I'm just gonna quickly jump in with a least favorite just to get off this part of the topic. But I'd say like the last two are kind of my least favorite,
Hmm.
and that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
So
Arizona's
the
Island might be my favorite just because of like how many cool enemies there are in it, and like I love the vibe and atmosphere of that island. Even though it recycles assets from Kronos, I still think it looks cool. And then Ares will be second. Kronos is third, and then like Chaos Island is dead fucking last. Like I've beaten the game what like four times by now. I think five, and I still haven't warmed up to that island. It is so it is so messy. It's not even like that bad. It's just it's so painful getting around. It's so easy to like get lost and not know where you're going. It's because everything's separated, and it's just
yeah, it's
And
just
the 2D sections, man. Who approved it? Why are there so many 2D sections in that game? Not in the game, but in that island, dude. Oh,
we'll never
I'm
know.
fine. Is there anything else?
No, that's pretty much the things I would keep.
All right, I agree with everything, by the way. They should definitely keep open zone. Definitely a winning formula. So like yes, just like explore the concept more. Side loop, easily probably one of the coolest abilities Sonic has ever had. It's just like you said, it's just so much fun to do. I love how there's cool stuff you can do with it. Like if you like draw the infinite symbol, you get infinite boost. That's just Oh, that's so cool. So yeah, keep that and yeah, and keep the fishing. I agree. They should keep the fishing, but just nerf it a little. I wouldn't say make the fishing harder. I'd say make it harder to obtain big tokens, so your fishing is limited. Well, like it is a convenient option and a nice peaceful break from all the action, but you have to earn that peaceful break. You don't just like get it, you know, really easily from like slot machines or whatever, and you're able to like Oh, my first run of Frontiers, I had like maxed out big tokens, and I didn't even realize how I got it. It was because of all the Starfall Island events where like I was able to like luck out and get a bunch of tokens. But guys, I had got up to 999 on my first time playing, and I didn't even know how I got it, and so I was able to just completely cheese the big fish. I didn't spend much time in there because I was too busy like like loving the game and like wanting to make love to it, but if I wanted to, I could have just not even played the game at all. I could have just fished for everything. So yeah, they need to definitely fix that.
Yep.
All right, so with that out of the way, so we talked about what we want them to keep in the next. I also got to add. I completely skipped over literally like my entire yeah. Keep the boss fights. That just keep the scale of the fights because those are like up there and some of the most iconic Sonic moments now. It's just easily like Sonic catching Giganto's laser breath, him flinging Riven about and using his own missiles to make him explode, him catching Knight's sword and slicing him in half of it. Like that's peak Sonic. It's just amazing. Keep all of those cool just keep that spectacle in the next game. Definitely keep the same people who composed the music, not even just for the boss fights, but just like the general music period was really good in this. So keep the same composer and keep Big Dick Ian Flynn on. And yeah, no, it just keep all that and yeah, I'd be happy. But with all of that now out of the way, and keep the currencies too. I love how many different currencies there were. I like how there were lost memories to progress the story of the characters. I like how there were vault keys that allows you to collect the chaos emeralds. I love the Coco, which allows you to get new upgrades. I love the seeds of defense and seeds of power, which allows you to do stat increases. Like do all of that, and then the big tokens out of the fish all that is so good. There's so many different ways to play the game. There's so much stuff to do at all times. I was never like not busy, and I love it when games do that to me. It can easily be obnoxious, but not in Frontier's case. So yeah, definitely keep like all the different currencies and upgrades. Oh yeah, and the skill tree. Keep the skill tree too. Even if you can improve it, keep it. So now we've reached the point where everyone knows what we didn't like in Frontiers and what we would like to see gone. And what we did like in Frontiers and what we want to see, like preserved and kept. Now on the fun part. Because now with all that information, what new things do we want in this next game? And this the next mainline game that's gonna serve as kind of like a sequel to Frontiers, maybe not in name, but definitely in terms of spirit. What do we want? I'll start with Gamebox. What do you want from this game? Just new stuff, period.
Well, I think I'd like to see. Well, again, I'm not gonna go with a cliched answer. I think it just depends on what the next game will have. But for me, I'd like to see a lot more interactions with like other creatures, or if it's like a human thing for the next one, then interact with like more humans, kind of like an Unleashed thing, but open world. I like
Yeah,
to I like to see that implemented in there somewhere. Um, new mini games that can new mini games, and definitely those mini games that focus on Sonic speed. Um, what else? Hmm. And oh, I think this could work for a small little mini game, or yeah, small little mini game for like passages and stuff. It could be like a little 16-bit Sonic puzzle type thing.
Oh, that would be like a neat little reference. Like maybe like a kind of like a hacking mini game, except like the style of it is like, like a 16-bit Genesis thing as like a callback. And I think that'd be cool. Or like like what Generations did, like as an unlockable, you could just get like an entire like classic Sonic game just available to play.
Yeah, and all it's also with the Mario Odyssey bit because there's a point in the game where he goes through a pipe and you can play an 8-bit form to get to the other passage. But with this case, it's just a mini game like thing to get through another passage type thing. Like for example,
Yeah.
there's a big door and it requires like a puzzle thing or something, and then that's where the 16-bit puzzle comes in, and then there you go.
That sounds like what the attempt was with 2D sections in these modern games to kind of like replicate some of that old school magic, and it just like fails spectacularly. So yeah, I would love to see if like they were able to implement something like that. That did a good job of, pleasing fans of the 2D gameplay style, but like yeah, having it as like a cool little like gameplay feature, but not having it come at the expense of the main gameplay.
Yeah.
All right. All those were pretty solid. And I think this goes to show just how good Frontiers is, guys, because if we were doing the same topic of like what we would want to see the next game have, but it was like right after Forces came out, this would be like a 5 hour long episode. All right. But no, we're like there's actually like the Frontiers nailed most of it, especially when it came to like what I want from a Sonic game. It's just there is like some things that I would like to see implemented and added. With the first of which being new physics. Yeah, no, Sonic controls pretty well in Frontiers, but he just doesn't control as well as he did in like the Genesis era, the Adventure era, etc. And the reason for that is because well, with every game like before Adventure 2, well, yeah, Adventure 2 had it to an extent. Sonic had to build his speed. That was the main appeal of the entire gameplay. You start off like in a slow little jog, and as you moved, you constantly sped up until you were like at a certain speed, and taking certain shortcuts and hitting certain things would make you go even faster. And the challenge was maintaining that speed, and your reward for completing that challenge was completing the level at a faster time and with a safer route. That was the main gimmick of Sonic at first, but nowadays it's not really. I think I haven't played at Unleashed yet. I'm about to, but from what I heard, that game did a lot of things right, and I think the boost is awesome. But the one con that game did is it took Sonic's gameplay and kind of made it more of a spectacle and more of a roller coaster, more of an on rails thing. But instead of earning that speed and applying that speed to, like actually like make better use of the environment, instead it's kind of just handed to you. Like you just hold down a button and you're just like going Mach 10, just speeding through the city and just speeding through these environments and stuff. I don't mind the boost gameplay at all. I think it's awesome. I think all of the games of boost that I've played so far have played really well. But I kind of miss like the more rewarding physics of older titles. So I would love to see that implemented. From what Moyo Kishimoto has been teasing, that is definitely the case of what we're going to be seeing. We're going to be seeing it in Frontiers as like a neat little update. Apparently to him it's going to be secret, but I don't know how it's secret if you just confirmed that it was a thing. But I guess that basically means it'll be shadow dropped out of nowhere, and like one day you'll just load up Frontiers to play it, and like Sonic will control really differently. But yeah, just better physics. And what else is there? Pretty much that's it. Oh yeah, yeah. Just my con with the cyber stages. Keep that. Just keep the cyber stages, but replace them with something way better. Have new, original, traditional stages. They don't have to be super long, because I get it. Like that take a lot of like dev time to make this giant open zone game, and then make stages like with the like as long as freaking I don't know Unleashed or like '06, where like the stages go on for a long time, or like Adventure like 2. They can totally just be short as long as they're original and they're cool and they introduce like new mechanics. Yeah, sure, go ahead. Like have traditional stages. The traditional stages are what like made so many people fans of the series. So keep those, just do them justice. And that's pretty much all like the major things that I want gameplay wise. Just better physics, and and obviously this goes without saying, Gamebox touched on this as well. Bigger budget. We already discussed this in the news section. It's definitely happening. But just in case they don't put that money in the right places, yeah, please for the love of God, like have there be a bigger budget for this next game, because Frontiers had a lot of issues that could have been definitely improved if it wasn't for, just the general unpolished, not unfinished, but unpolished nature of that game. With that said, that's pretty much all the things that I want in Frontiers gameplay wise. But I raise you this, Gamebox, okay? You're not out of the woods yet, all right?
All
What
right.
what changes do you want them to make story wise, if any? Because there were some people who did complain that, like, maybe the story of the ancients and the background that was introduced wasn't really fleshed out properly, or like some of the interactions were very melodramatic, or just the entire tone of the story was just off. Some people have actually come out and said they really do prefer the comedic side of Sonic, the more lighthearted side that we see in like Lost World, Generations, Colors. So I'm interested to see what you think, because we had an entire episode where we talked about like like what our preferred Sonic stories are. So I'm curious,
Mhm.
do you want there to be any new changes in the way the story is presented or told?
Well, with the way that Force is told, no, not, well, yeah, the way that Force is told its story, it was just a perfect example of what not to do when it comes to like
Yeah.
writing a serious story. Um, but Frontiers, on the other hand, I'd say just continue what they're doing, but I'd say up the stakes a little bit more, because I think you can pretty much do something like that. And yeah, just be funny when there's a good reason to be funny instead of just being funny for the sake of it, because you've got your, because it's a kids game after all. It's a kid game. It's a kids game. But yeah, just be serious when you need to be serious and be funny when you need to be funny. Don't make it because it's a kids game. Just like what I just said there, do it if you have a reason to do it.
Do what the Sonic movies do. If you're going to go the funny route, actually be funny. That's basically it. Just if you're going to make stuff more lighthearted and like more funny, have it be funny. At the very least, succeed in the tonal direction that you're trying to go for. Because the Sonic movies, even though they have fart jokes and pop culture references and all that, and like typical obnoxious stuff you see in like a lot of like low effort kids films, the movies, all of it is justified because it's not low effort. It's genuinely really entertaining, and like it can get a laugh from adult audiences as well. So yeah, that was the major issue with Pontiac and Graff, like the Pontiac and Graff ever stories. Even though they didn't write the stories, they wrote the dialogue for the English version of those stories, and it was awful. And if you're going to do any sort of story revolving just anything, the number one rule is to not treat your audiences like they're stupid. That's what the meta era games did, and that's why they were so dumb. And yeah.
Yeah, the whole Pontac and Graph, Jesus Christ.
Baldy
Again,
McNose hair.
Baldy nose hair.
Oh fucking god, I want to kill myself. That's a joke. YouTube, calm down. Don't demonetize my non-monetized video, please. Uh, is there anything else, by the way?
No, that's pretty much it. Oh wait, there's a couple of terrible Pontac and Graph dialogue.
Oh,
Okay, so here's the first one. Sonic, help me! Fuck off, Tails, you piece of shit. Um, the other one. Trying to think of another horribly written line. Uh, there's balding nose hair. There's Tails
It's
ass.
hard to think of one because so much pops up.
Yeah.
Did
Oh,
someone order a club and sandwich?
so Infinite. Now we're getting to know each other. So, what's your favorite color? Do you like long walks on the beach? What's the source of your power? You can skip the first two questions if you like. And my personal favorite, Sonic is alive. Comedic genius.
Oh, fucking god.
This is great writing.
It is. Oh, I'm so glad we're out of that era. Oh, I'm so glad. Ian Flynn, cuddle me. Oh. It'll be really awkward if I make all these like Ian Flynn sexual jokes and then like I actually like succeed in YouTube and meet the man one day. And like if he's watching my content, I'll just have to like look him in the eye as I shake his hand and just be like, yeah,
Ian
yeah, that's
Flynn.
I'm sorry.
That'd be funny.
Uh But yeah, no, but I agree with what you said. Just be funny when, it's appropriate to be funny. Because not everything does have to be dreary. Not everything has to be like, dark and depressing. Because, at the end of the day, this is a uplifting comfort series for a lot of people. So you can still be lighthearted when you need to be. Just also know when to be serious. And you guys are gonna roll your eyes, but that's something I really love the adventure games for. I will give people this. As much as I defend the Shadow the Hedgehog story and the Sonic 06 story, they were tonally like all over the place. It was not like that at all. They were both very melodramatic. I'd say a perfect balance might be maybe Sonic Unleashed, with the way it presents its story, or just the indisputably best Sonic story of all time, Adventure 2, where like it knows when it needs to be serious, but it also has like a bunch of that like Sonic like dumb charm. That's so cool. Or a better example, and you guys are definitely gonna roll your eyes with this, but hear me out. Sonic X. I know people don't like Sonic X because oh my god, Chris Thorndike, man, we hate humans. I get it, but just hear me out. That show had the perfect tonal balancing out of like any Sonic media I think I've ever watched. Like it was dumb, but it knew it was dumb and it knew how to like balance that dumb schlock with genuine emotion. And that's just what made the show so good. Like it knew when to be lighthearted and corny, but at the same time, like it knew when to take itself seriously. The Meta X arc being a prime example. Like when Sonic is stuck in the human world and like they're up to like the shenanigans and like the dealing of Dr. Eggman, the series is lighthearted and jocular, but has some bits of emotion. And then when the Meta X get involved, and you have like this interstellar race of like beings who are like just on a whole nother level, that's when things get pretty serious. And yeah, I just want a nice, like Gamebox said, just a nice tonal balance. Just be funny when you need to be and be dark when you need to be.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's I hadn't thought about it, but that is a valid complaint of Frontier Story. Even if you don't like if you weren't making that claim, I do hear people saying they wish the Frontier Story was a little more lighthearted. Because even though there is like, fun dialogue with the characters and stuff, for the most part, the story plays itself pretty seriously, like from the start all the way to the ending, and it's pretty dramatic. So I do understand that. I love the dramatic storytelling, so I don't have a problem with it, but I understand why others would. So I'd say for the next game, as like my own personal thing, maybe like make it a little more lighthearted again. Like maybe like have there be more cutscenes for the characters just being themselves and goofing around. And then also keep like that serious high stakes level stuff and the genuine emotion of these characters and what they bring. I know what Ian Flynn is capable of this because the IDW series exists where that's literally the perfect display, just like Sonic X of like how to totally balance this weird wacky series. At least of the like limited issues that I've read and the speed readings that I've seen on the Game of Pauses channel. So Yeah, no, even for this couple of it, just next game balance out that tone a little more. In terms of what I also want of this story changes, flesh out the background more. Because this is a tiny issue I had with Frontiers. I love Frontiers story. It's up there one of my favorite Sonic stories of all time, without a doubt. But you are scratching your head at a lot of questions, like what is the end? What relationship did it have to the ancients? Like you get a lot of answers to this, but the answers are really vague. Like we know the end was this like creature that went around space and destroyed the ancients' home planet, but what is it, and why does it exist, and how did the ancients come to know of it, and like, and just a lot of questions. How does cyberspace work? How did a lot of the biggest emotional moment of the story, where Sonic's friends get together and save him from cyber corruption, is undermined by the fact that no one knows what's happening in that scene. Like we know that they're saving him, but like logistically, what's going on? Like scientifically, like are they taking on the corruption themselves? Like if so, how is that possible? How do they know how to do that? Like there's so many questions. And yeah, just flesh here. This is the proper way to say it. Just flesh it out more. Flesh out the story more in the next game, and have things be made a lot more clear. And I feel like that would be pretty good. The Sonic stories in the past have been known for having stories that are better to just not think about and just go along with it. Like I talk about how good the Adventure 2 story is, but guys, if you really pay attention and try to dissect that story bit for bit, it makes no fucking sense. It is so stupid. So yeah, Sonic has always been a series where it's just like turn your brain off, don't think about it too much, and you'll have a blast. But with Frontiers, it came off more as confusing, as opposed to just being like simple to follow. So yeah, just improve that. Again, I'm not talking just about Ian Flynn's writing or the person himself. He is immensely talented, and he is by far probably like my favorite writer of the series, right alongside Shiro Makaira. It's just little things that I think would help the story in the next game.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that pretty much sums it up. You guys know what we want in Frontiers. You guys know what we liked and disliked in the first game, and you guys know what direction we want the story to go in. So, with that said, I guess I'll ask Gamebox this. You can say this in however you want. You can summarize it. You can like go into long-winded explanation, whatever. Just, I'm curious, what does your dream Frontiers 2 look like? Like when this
Um,
game comes out, what is like your ideal vision of this game? Like what's your ideal version of this?
my ideal version of a Frontiers 2 would be I'm not gonna pull out the generic answer where it's like, oh, we should have it in like a Green Hills thing, maybe. It's like maybe, but I'd like to see more islands. It could be like a different island. It could be like somewhere, yeah, just other types of islands like snowy islands, um, beach island. Um, yeah, there's just a lot of places you can go with the Frontiers 2. Um, but I think another my mainly ideal Sonic Frontiers 2 would definitely be a lot more mini. I'd like to see newer, like a lot of new video. What am I saying? New mini games. Update things being updated, and hopefully, I say hopefully, updated cutscenes and maybe an updated sprite or an updated model for
Yeah, I
Sonic.
think I did hear something that's confirmed that the model will be updated in the next game.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your ideal Sonic Frontiers 2?
All right. My ideal Frontiers 2 is this. Above all else, regardless of anything, I want this game to be full of surprises, full of genuine surprises, to be more specific. Frontiers is a amazing game. It's still my favorite Sonic game of all time. And the first time I played it, I could not put it down and platinum it. I platinumed the whole thing in 3 days. I was in love with it. But by the time I got to Chaos Island, I did feel a little like I started getting a little tired out. The burning desire to continue the story and see what was going to happen and experience more of the game was so strong in me that like it didn't matter at all. But now when I replay the game, it gets a little grating. Whereas with a game like Adventure 1 or Adventure 2, no matter how many times I play it, it is just from the moment it starts to the moment it ends, exhilarating, fun, and exciting, and full of twists and turns. So I want this next game above all else to just be full of surprises. Like make Sonic like just as radical and cool as he can possibly be. That was the entire reason the game series was the invented to just be cool. And I want that identity like restored back to Sonic because a lot of people view Sonic as like a cute, cuddly cartoon character. Nah, this man is all about business. He is awesome. He is cool. He can be adorable. I'm not saying because I do know that's like what some people argue about on Twitter. He can be both adorable and cool. I feel like so. Yeah, like restore some of that edge to the series. And so yeah, my Frontiers 2 uh insanely improved physics that make every single action you do feel really fun and completely in your control. You like Frontiers makes you feel like you're Sonic, whereas the next game makes you feel like you are really Sonic. Like you might as well be in his shoes. Everything you do is you. There's so many versatile options for moving around. There's like a whole spin dash, and like you have to earn all of the cool tricks you do, you have to like there has to be a level of skill applied to do certain tricks that can get you in certain areas faster. Just make moving around insanely fun in this game. Just literally make just everything you do really cool. Story wise, literally as long as you have Ian Flynn on board, like with full creative freedom, it's just we win. The story is going to be amazing, and yeah, and also just finally, for once, make a fully AAA Sonic experience. That's the main thing right there. That's what's going to happen with this new budget. But yeah, I want this game to feel like a real video game. Like I said, like Ratchet and Clank is the best example. Like when you pick up Rift Apart and you put it in and play it, it is breathtaking. You feel like you have a full ginormous experience, cinematic experience waiting ahead of you. And I want Frontiers 2 to feel exactly that. So yeah, uh totally balanced story with cool lore significance, amazing physics with that works off of the same groundwork laid by Frontiers in regards to the open zone format, but maybe way more improved and way more lively. And yeah, and it's just overall like actually polished and actually just high budget. And yeah, that would be my dream Frontiers too. Frontiers was so good. Like there's not an insane amount that I want to see like that there's not a insane amount of new things that I won't. I because most of it was like at the very least touched upon in the first game. But for the sequel, and obviously it might not be Frontiers 2, but you guys know what we mean when we say Frontiers 2. Like the next spiritual successor, the next mainline game that adopts this formula. And yeah, that's what I want. But with that said, guys, I think we have reached the end of another episode of Let's Talk Sonic. I have no clue how you guys have made it this long, suffering our nonsense. But here we are, and we really do appreciate you guys. I completely forgot to do this last episode, but Gamebox, who are you? What do you do? And what are you working on?
Well, my name is Gamebox. I am a YouTuber slash storyteller. I'm currently still working on the Sly and Box show. Parts of it have been complete because editing it has been a nightmare with schedules and stuff, and that's pretty much just it. Lol. XD uwu.
Yeah, Yeah, guys, Gamebox's links will be in the description. I completely forgot to put them in the last episode. I will do that. Oh my god, last episode was just was so jank, guys. But yeah, you guys already know what I do. I do Sonic stuff. I want to be the next great Sonic tuber. So yeah, I post videos pretty regularly. Feel free to subscribe if you enjoy this podcast. We post a new episode every Wednesday whenever I'm not being a lazy idiot. But yeah, with that said, are there any final words you'd like to bestow upon us, Gamebox?
No, not really, but bye guys. It's Sonic Nerd. Sorry to.
I think
Bye,
those are the
guys.
wisest words you could have like left off this podcast with.
Yep, I just choose to do that.
Yeah, here, let's both do it together. All right,
Alright.
guys, so this is the end.
All right, guys, this is the end. Sorry, 2 seconds. I gotta sneeze. Sorry, guys. Goodbye. Goodbye, guys. I'm
Bye,
waving.
guys. Join my Minecraft server.
Make sure you go check out my Roblox account. It's under Cars 269. Goodbye.
Please don't unsubscribe. Bye.